So there is a huge fight between the Treasury and the opposition benches in Parliament, where there is a lot of allegation as to who exactly is responsible for the fact that the Parliament is not functioning. The opposition says that the centre is steamrolling through bills, railroading through legislation, and they don't want to discuss serious issues like Pegasus as well as the farmers' cause. A new and innovative form of protest has begun, where MPs hold placards, and one such MP of the Shiromani Akali Dal is now with us, Harsimrat Kaur Badal. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. Ms. Badal, every day you hold up posters on gate number 4 of Parliament. Why do you feel the need as an MP to do this?
Sanket, through you, I'd like to tell the nation that since the time these bills were passed in the Parliament, and I resigned because I did not want to be a part of a cabinet that was putting these laws, in Hindi like we say, these kanons were being thopod on the Kisan without their due consultation, without the due process being followed. And I resigned because I did not want to be part of a cabinet who was going about such an important legislation in such an autocratic manner, not just with the farmers but also in the Parliament. And since then, after that came the budget session, and I tried very hard throughout the budget session that this farmer issue be raised and we be allowed a discussion on it. As you know very well that entire budget session had to be curtailed 1 week earlier, and everybody wanted a discussion, but the government totally refused it. After that has come the monsoon session, where it's been 8 months that the farmers have been sitting at the borders of Delhi, and over 500 farmers have sacrificed their lives in an agitation demanding that these laws be repealed, which in any case have been now, courts have stepped in and they have not been implemented, but the farmers have lost trust in the government, and they feel that the moment the time is up, this government will again through a backdoor entry the way they did in the times of COVID, they will bring it in, which is why they are demanding their repeal. Now tell me something, if 500 farmers are sitting at our borders, if thousands of farmers are sitting at the borders and over 500 have given up their lives, when the session started, they're holding a parallel parliament. Do you think it's not an issue that needs to be discussed, that the situation arising in the nation, a farmer agitation which is happening despite COVID, farmers are out on the streets and the anger against the government is growing. Should this parliament not discuss that what can be done to stem this farmer agitation and to stop this loss of lives every day? Today also, an old woman from Atari has sacrificed her life because she's been sitting here agitating for these bills. So every day since the session started, I have been giving an adjournment motion that all other issues should be set aside. We need to save the Annadata's life, due to whose crop we all feed our families and we all stay alive. Life is sustained in India because of this Annadata. And if the Annadata is out on the streets sacrificing his life to have his voice heard, and the government is refusing to listen to him, they have failed after 13 rounds. Eventually the courts had to step in. Should not the parliament discuss and the sense of the house prevail on how the farmer's life should be saved? But the shocking part is that for 14 continuous days, they have refused to admit the adjournment motion. I have had no choice but to stand outside with a placard and try to wake up the conscience of each and every minister and MP going in, that let's talk about the Annadata and do not think of him as a faceless person. These are hundreds of people whose families, 500 people means thousands of people connected to these 500 people whose entire lives have been disrupted. And more importantly, my border state of Punjab, the entire social fabric has gone for a toss. The peace and harmony has gone for a toss because of these laws. What started in Punjab, the agitation has now spread to a Haryana, where even the chief minister can't hold his programs. It's spread to a Rajasthan, it's spread to a UP. How many more farmers are going to die till 2024? How many more are you going to kill? Should the parliament not be discussing this?
But then
which is why I stand there. I have no choice because my voice is not being allowed to be raised. My adjournment motions are not being admitted. I have no choice but to raise my voice outside and inside and give it my best shot.
Fair enough, Harsimrat ji. But you know, what the government seems to be saying, And the Prime Minister's office has now tweeted to say that the opposition is wasting crucial time and working against the interest of the country. This is in response to the protests by the Trinamool Congress as well as by the Shiromani Akali Dal. How would you respond?
Well, I have been saying from day one that the government needs to answer. According to the constitution, whose responsibility is it to ensure the house functions? It's the responsibility of the government. What can the opposition do? Under rules, they can ask for certain adjournments or certain discussions, which is exactly what we are doing. It is for the government to accommodate the opposition and ensure that in this temple of democracy, nobody's voice is stifled and everybody gets to have its say. They may have the largest numbers. We've seen the way they are passing the legislation in any case, exactly the same way they pass these laws in the Rajya Sabha, and exactly the same way when the ordinance came into the cabinet, how I begged and pleaded with them that please don't bring in these ordinances without discussing with the farmers, defer it for a week, 10 days. The way we pleaded with them when it came to the parliament, Sukhbir Singh Badal begged them, send it to the select committee. Don't put the farmers onto the streets to agitate against it. But despite that, on the strength of sheer numbers, they passed it just like they are passing all other bills. And that is why these agitations are taking place. So today when the government says that it's the opposition that's disrupting the house, it's actually the government which is disrupting it, because they are stifling the opposition's voice. A huge opposition is asking for 2 discussions. Why are you running away from the discussion on farmers or the discussion of Pegasus, the Snoop Gate? If you got nothing to hide, you must admit the adjournment motions, and all the government has to do in the business which comes out the next day, please write that this discussion is listed for such and such date and such time. That's all they need to do and the house will settle down. But they are refusing to do it. They are refusing to allow a discussion. There are important issues like rising prices of petrol and diesel, inflation of farmers. These are issues which concern the people and we are not allowed to raise them.
I'll tell you.
Then why the mockery of wasting the public's money and running this parliament? It's already a semi-dictatorship. Just make it into a total dictatorship.
Okay.
And pass your bills, make your laws, run the country the way you
No,
want.
Harsimrati, that's exactly the point. It's very clear. You have said this, the Trinamool Congress said this, that the government is steamrolling through legislation. Don't you think that this protest by the opposition and by you and by the TMC and other opposition leaders, you are effectively helping the government only? Now they can pass these bills without any discussion because they say that you don't want a discussion. You are only protesting.
Well, I would only like to say to this that the farmer laws are a classic example. In the Rajya Sabha, when there was a demand for a voting, it was just steamrolled through and rejected and the bills were passed. So whether the house functions or it doesn't function, the government is just having its way. We call ourselves a democracy. We have the ruling party which will, bow its head at the floor before entering the parliament and, bow their head to the constitution. But where are the constitutional things being followed? What is happening inside the parliament today? Why is the government not letting the opposition raise the issues that they want to? It's for the government to allow that. And yes, opposition has no choice. I have no choice. For example, I have to raise the farmers issue. I cannot sit and start debating their bills when my farmers are dying every day. And I will keep fighting for them. And government is taking full advantage of this. And the unfortunate part is, if I could get 6 small parties together, I was very saddened to see that after I had made my small effort with the 6 parties and asked the big parties to join, Rahul Gandhi actually gets 14 parties together and does not say that let's pressurize this government to repeal these laws so that the farmer deaths stop. He was more concerned about his phones being snooped. I agree that's an important issue and it must be discussed, must be debated, and the government must be answerable. But is it more costly than a farmer's life, than the life of an Indian? Surely we need to get our priorities right, and this government must ensure that our democracy stays alive and we don't just steamroll into making our country a dictatorship.
Correct. And as you say that today he did lead a delegation to that Kisan Sansad which took place. Anyway, Harsimrat ji, posters in Parliament for the farmers. What next from the Shiromani Akali Dal?
Shiromani Akali Dal, for the last 13 months from the day this ordinance came in on the 3rd of June, first of all inside the government, we fought it. We appealed to them. We tried to make them see reason. Even to the extent where we were assured that it's only an ordinance now, before it becomes a law, the farmers' issues will be addressed and then the law will come in. But despite these assurances, they brought it in the first day of the monsoon session, and you saw the way that it was just steamrolled through, which is why we had to leave the government, not be a part of the government. And since then, we have been fighting it on the streets. We have been fighting it, trying to fight it inside the parliament, and we will continue to fight it. Till date, they have not been able to implement the laws. They've tried to defame the farmer agitation. They've tried to defame the farmers, from calling them mawalis to parjivis to terrorists. This is the Annadata who gives the maximum food into the food basket of India. This is the Annadata, this Punjab and Haryana farmers, when we used to beg the foreign countries for food in the 1960s and live off what they sent us, what they fed their animals. The Green Revolution came about because of these farmers. Today, we are self-reliant in our food. And which nation can progress? You talk about Atmanirbhar, you talk about doubling farmers' income by 2022. We're 4 months away from 2022 and farmers of the entire nation are out on the streets because you're cleaning out whatever income they could have. If there's a good model which is happening in some states where the farmers are prospering, where they are contributing to the national basket, should that model be copied in all the other backward states, or should you demolish the existing system and put everybody into the backward situation? And I'm sorry to say that unfortunately for our nation, where this dictatorship government is doing what it is and harming the farmers, the Congress was no better. Here I have the Congress manifesto released by Rahul Gandhi in 2019, which in page 17 he clearly says that the entire APMC Act is going to be demolished and going to be the exact same laws. He has promised that that's what Congress will do if it comes into power. Here I have the election manifesto of 2017 of Captain Amrinder Singh in Punjab, where he says exactly the same thing, that the mandis will be given to private players. And for your information, Sanket, by 2017 August, Captain Amrinder Singh had already implemented these laws and they stand as is till date. This is the double face of the Congress. Here they talk about farmers. In Punjab they have implemented the laws, and Captain Amrinder Singh is very happy with this farmer agitation because he feels as long as the farmers are fighting the center, they're not looking into all the scams and all the promises which he has failed to deliver. So Congress is in a very wonderful position. I'm sure you know that how in 2017 they said they would waive off every farmer's all kind of loans, and came into Punjab with a thumping majority, and they were so happy with that promise that next they made that promise in Rajasthan, then they made it in Madhya Pradesh, and they have failed in every state to waive off the loan of any farmer, which is why so many farmers are committing suicide. So this Congress is, if not equally, both these central parties, which is why today we need a government which is of the state. Regional parties are becoming stronger and people should support them because they understand what the state needs. There, like I say, there, in Hindi we say unki lagam, their reins are not in the hands of some high command sitting somewhere in Delhi or in Nagpur. It's in the hand of the people of that state, which is why we need the regional parties who speak for what the state needs and does not to double speak, either like Kejriwal, who was the first person to notify in Delhi these 3 black laws, and then today his party is talking in favor of the farmers, like Bhagwant Mann, who was part of the committee meeting where it's given in writing, please implement these laws as fast as possible. This is what they do, and it's another thing what they say.
Sure.
So these parties stand totally exposed, and Akali Dal will continue to fight for our people. It's a 100-year-old party which has made supreme sacrifices for the cause of our state, and we will continue to fight and continue to make those sacrifices till whatever extent needed.
All right. Harsimrat Kaur Badal, thank you very much for joining us with your views. Thank you.